There's a hard reality at the peak of summer. The water's low, the sun high, and at some point, the angling pressure has trout on high alert. It doesn't matter if your river has 10 fish and sees 1 angler daily, or if your river has 1,000 fish and sees 50 boats a day. Cumulative angling pressure and a lack of fresh change in highly exposing conditions leads to trout with intolerant attitudes. While they may well eat your fly, they've also about had it with being stuck in the face and key into our presence. Introduced rainbows and browns only exist for our want of catching them, and mid to late season's conditions throws a wrench in the ease of doing so. In this video, we look at the peak of summer and break things down as to understand why one trout that you'd swear should have been hooked up is missed, whereas another trout that maybe should have refused due to line control issues is hooked up. At the peak of summer, it can be a game of 50-50. I've maintained to never trust a rainbow for a couple of decades. Rainbows simply don't station as readily as browns or cutthroat, and while they feed voraciously like cuts, they move around, searching. And if you don't have a bankside view, you wouldn't know if that one fish is still in the area feeding, 10 feet downstream, over at the bank, or chasing another fish 30 meters upstream. You just can't trust them to sit still. Rainbows are the ADHD river specialists of the trout world.
Well guys, we've been seeing actually a pod of risers up ahead here. And we've got a pod of rainbows, sorry. Pod of rising rainbows, exactly what we're seeing up ahead here. And what I'd like to do is just try to pick off the back one first, because yeah, I'd like to have a chance at maybe more than one fish. So that's my plan. And right now I've actually got a tandem setup going on. So I want to make sure I can see that well, and I can. I've got 2 dry flies. Top one is a caddis fly, bottom one is kind of an emerger pattern. Oh, that's a nice fish. So is that one. Okay. So that's the lower one that I'm seeing, and literally about 6 feet above it is the second fish. Okay. Oh, that might come down to a fish here any moment now, unless he's going to move more to his right, which he did. Is he going to come back? No. Okay, this is going to be a timing thing. I can see it already. Yeah. Trying to get a really close look. I know we've had fish coming to PMDs recently, and I'm just taking a good look at what these fish are actually rising to, and I think at the moment it's emerger stuff. So I have a better hope for that bottom fly. But we're gonna see here, because again, it's just a timing issue. That has a chance. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go, yeah! Nice. Right on. Yeah, so, you know, sometimes, you know, again, timing. It's kind of, I thought it was timing, but you know, you get enough casts and you think you're drifting and they're popping lots. Coming up, and you think, hey man, you know, why am I not getting a look? Ah, that's a nice fish. It's a nice rainbow, Dave. Really nice. And he ain't done, I'm sure. Looks like he's done, but he ain't done. Yeah, that was really neat. So again, just a timing thing, you know. Sometimes you just gotta have those drifts right at the time that those fish are actually looking up. Okay, keep that head up. No. Come on, in the net. Yeah, nice. Beautiful rainbow. Beautiful. Beautiful rainbow. Really pretty spots. Gorgeous.
Go anytime.
Okay, up and off he goes. That was fun. Yeah, so that was a really fun fish. What it reminded me again in the end was listen to my gut, because my gut was saying, hey, this is just a timing thing. And I might have even voiced that out loud to you guys, but it was saying, hey, this is a timing thing. You're gonna have to probably take a number of casts, because these are rainbows that are coming up from the deep. And even though, you know, there's a number of them and they're popping fairly consistently, you don't know when they're turning around and doing a cruise and they're just not seeing your fly. And as it turns out in the end, they just weren't seeing it. I was tempted to want to change, but no. You know, I'd done probably half a dozen casts with no result. But yeah, that was great. You know, it definitely took the emerger pattern. It's basically, honestly, it could represent a mahogany dung emerger. It's got kind of dark body, or a PMD emerger, but that's what it took. And what I loved is sometimes that fly wants to ride pretty low in the water. And so what I use is a double setup, double dry.
Well, this one's pretty cool. I just had the drone on this one. It's that big dark fish, and it's rising dead center in the seam here. The wind has picked up from downstream. I had set up with a 17-foot leader to 5X overkill, but I'm gonna stick with that. It's just coming up and going down, up and down and up and down. The upstream wind across, I'm gonna try to, I think what's gonna end up happening is I'm gonna have to cast it up and do a bit of a reach to my left and let that wind flop it 3 feet upstream. So it's kind of like a curling shot, you know, it's like out and let, or a golf shot, you know, you got to read the green. It's like, okay, there's a bit of a, yeah, it's a straight cast, but with a breeze, because that'll be a longer cast, because I can't get too close to this fish because of the depth right here. So it'll be across and out, and just see if we can let that flop right onto his nose. As I get down, I can just see that dark shape. Oh boy, just. And then I get further down, and well, now I can't see jack. I saw the tail, no, or is that Dynamo? Yeah, really got to find him. Oh, up there. Yeah, I see that. I see the dark shape. That's the only thing going for me right now, is that it's a dark shape. Oh, and not too dark down, you know what I mean? So that's it right there, right? I'm going. Oh, he's there. There he is, he's risen. Little shy. Oh, big look. Huge look. Okay. Is he sticking around? Yeah, he's there. He's right here, isn't he? Yep. Here we go. Right in the seam, right to him. Oh! Oh! He had rise up on that all day, so I gotta change. Wow. That was awesome. Epic. 3 casts, 2 right to his nose, served him on a plate, and he came within an inch to eat the thing, but didn't. So spent spinner, I think, or maybe a light polywing Adams, because these aren't totally spent spinners. These are still upright spinners too, so I might be able to get away with that. So this fish right here just refused me twice, short, in tight. And when I was flying the drone watching Amelia fish, I could see this fish go up to the next top seam there, and then kind of go down and across left, then right, then drop into the next pocket, across and up. This fish refused me twice solid, and then came over upstream and just crossing that first rock shelf, and I haven't seen it since. So now we're just waiting out. You know, if you know what you know, and what you know is that it's moving around, then what's the rush? Basically now we're just waiting and watching for a big dark shadow to appear. And you know, it's going to take 5 or 10 minutes. This is a fish that is catchable, and we're just going to wait. You know, maybe I'm proved wrong, but so if you don't believe that it's catchable, then what are you out here fishing for? So that's what we're doing. I'm rigged up with my caddis that it refused. A foot down below that, I've got a little size 18 PMD upright spinner pattern. I certainly don't have him right now. Was he in here or out there? I got you. Okay. Well, we'll just wait. I might just step up back and up on this rock here and just see if I can see. I'm scanning from here to there. Might have gone up into that next seam as well. We don't know. But right now, over top of, in this green, it's going to be a dark bar just subsurface, or it's going to be a dark shape covering one of these rocks or rock shelves, something like that. And he's going to show eventually here. He just is. These are fish that you wait 5 or 10 minutes and they cannot help but show themselves. And you just have to be ready and aimed, cocked, loaded, and ready to shoot. Okie dokie. So I got rid of the double dry fly setup. This guy out here is actually still rising. And I just went with a small little PMD mayfly, quill body, yellow, a little bit of brown antron or whatever for a tail, 3 wraps brown hackle around kind of an elk hair post. And we'll see. I got rid of the double dry fly because I didn't like the nunchucking that it was doing. And you know, nunchucks, one boom, poof, if you know nunchucks. In the wind and in the drag and the current, it just doesn't work on these particular fish all that well. So that was the change I made. It's funny because people go, why would you spend this much time on a fish? Well, because I'm pretty sure I got a chance of getting this fish. Not 100%, but you know, here we go. Anybody see that? Oh, he looked. That was me. Here we go again. A little further out. Yeah, he didn't want to come a foot to his left. Okay, I'm just going to let that drift. He's dropping just a touch, isn't he? Out to the middle. Try that. That should be close to him. Right to his nose if he comes 6 inches to his right. And? No, he looked. Boy, he looked hard. I'm going to go with a little tiny little polywing caddis. Still not easy. He's going to eat that. Yeah. I'm going to let him rise before I go at him again. He usually quits for 10 minutes after refusing, so. There you go. Yeah. Unbelievable. He refused 6 or 7 times, and he finally came across. It was just a matter, I didn't like him when he was actually in here, because it was too slow. And out there was a really good ripple on the surface. And I thought, well, if I'm gonna get this fish, it's gonna be right frickin' there. Yeah, play the chop. It's your only chance, really, if I'm honest. I was never gonna get that take. 17-foot leader, so he's 15 feet deep right now. And I just hope he comes this side of that rock. So while I'm fighting this fish, I had a lot of people ask, well, how come you don't hold your rod up in the cork? Well, I find that if I hold it just like I am right now, that I can finesse. I can feel just a little bit more pressure what that fish is doing. Try to steer him this way. 4-weight rod, 17-foot leader, 5X tippet, size 18 mayfly in his mouth. And you don't want to pump. It's the totally opposite of salt water or anything heavy. Wicked. It's a gorgeous fish. Like, it's big, strong bugger. Yeah, right on. Here we go, love. Ah, what a gorgeous fish and a gorgeous fight. Thank you, girl.